On a quiet suburban street in the heart of Briarwood Grove, a man in a knockoff uniform struck a pregnant woman in the belly with a flashlight, claiming she had violated HOA rules. He barked commands, puffed out his chest like a mall cop on steroids, and carried himself like a general in a neighborhood war no one else signed up for. But behind the plastic badge and iron-on patches was just a man named Randy Brewer who'd built a fantasy and was about to see it crumble. What he didn't expect was the strength of a father who wouldn't back down, a community ready to stand up, and a baby who chose that very moment to arrive. Saturday mornings in Briarwood Grove moved like clockwork. Lawns buzzed with sprinklers, dogs trotted past on leashes, and neighbors exchanged pleasantries over coffee and garden talk. For Nate and Kelsey Turner, the morning walks were tradition. Kelsey was 39 weeks along, and though Nate fretted, she insisted on keeping active. It wasn't a long walk, just a few blocks, enough to keep her moving and keep them connected in the calm before their baby arrived. As they passed Mr. Copeland trimming his roses, Kelsey called out, "Still holding that baby hostage, huh?" He chuckled. "He's just fashionably late, right?" The neighborhood seemed picture-perfect, almost eerily so. High picket fences, trimmed hedges, and an HOA newsletter that cared more about Halloween lights than emergencies. But on that day, as they turned toward home, something shifted. A man stood beneath a large maple tree at the edge of the sidewalk. His outfit screamed pretend authority: navy shirt with creases too sharp to be natural, tactical pants better suited for a SWAT raid than a neighborhood stroll, and a flashlight far too large for daytime use. Clipped to his belt was a two-way radio, chirping softly. There was no cruiser nearby, just a dented white sedan parked haphazardly. Nate slowed. Kelsey followed suit, her hand resting gently on her belly. The man moved forward with deliberate swagger and blocked the sidewalk, feet planted wide, hand on his belt like a highway cop. Nate recognized him now as the guy they'd heard about. Locals called him the HOA cop, though nobody could recall him ever being officially appointed. Stories circulated. He once left a warning for someone whose mailbox tilted slightly left, and another time tried to fine a teenager for riding a skateboard past 5 p.m. "Morning," Nate said cautiously. "We're just heading home." The man didn't respond. He pressed a button on his radio, let it hiss, then announced, "This area is under review. Please vacate the path." "What?" Kelsey asked, confused. "We live right there," Nate added, pointing to their driveway. "My wife is pregnant. We're finishing our walk." Instead of stepping aside, the man whose shirt read Corporal Royce in peeling vinyl gripped his flashlight and narrowed his stance. Royce was a performance. He carried himself like he was guarding national secrets, not checking sidewalks. Everything about him, from the iron-on patches to the laminated fake citation, screamed self-appointed authority. He had notebooks full of bogus violations created in Word, printed at home. And though his badge was plastic and his radio fake, he walked the streets like a marshal in the Wild West. Some in the neighborhood used to laugh, but laughter faded as the months passed. Royce's antics escalated. He took photos of trash cans, logged recycling bin times, and snapped pictures of unapproved mulch colors. There were whispers he had been kicked off the HOA board years ago. Some said he never served at all. But Randy Bruera.K.A. Corporal Royce still roamed, determined to impose order. That morning he saw Kelsey pause, needing a moment to breathe. Instead of offering assistance, he made it a confrontation. "You can't sit there," he snapped. "HOA property. Utility access." "She's 9 months pregnant," Nate said, stepping forward. Royce spun the flashlight in his hand like a baton. Then, without warning, he thrust it forward, a calculated jab that landed directly on Kelsey's belly. Time froze. Kelsey gasped. Nate flinched. But Kelsey, calm as ever, looked at Nate and said, "The baby's coming now." Her water broke right there, pooling on the asphalt. Neighbors emerged from homes, some clutching phones, others frozen. Nate dropped to his knees, guiding Kelsey gently down. Royce, ignoring reality, barked, "Everyone back. HOA's own rules." "She's giving birth, not loitering," someone shouted. Royce waved his flashlight like a wand. "Compliance breach. Maximum 6 persons unless pre-registered." "Is this guy for real?" a teenager muttered, recording on his phone. Amid the chaos, Sarah Webb, a neighbor and paramedic, pushed through the crowd. "I'm trained," she said. Royce blocked her path. "You're not authorized for this sector." She ignored him and dropped to Kelsey's side, checking vitals. Nate stayed close, gripping his wife's hand, whispering steady encouragement. The contractions came fast. The birth was happening. Then someone from the crowd called out, "That's not Corporal Royce. That's Randy Brewer." Recognition rippled through the crowd. Glenn, a retired HOA treasurer, stepped forward. He forged letters, tried collecting fake compliance fees. Got banned 2 years ago. Others chimed in. Stories poured out. Royce Randa stood frozen, the spell breaking. His grip on the flashlight trembled. Sarah, unfazed, kept coaching Kelsey. "You're doing great." Deep breaths. Randy stepped forward. Flashlight raised. That's when Nate stood. "Touch her again," Nate said evenly, "and I swear." Randy, clinging to fantasy, raised the flashlight higher. Nate moved. One clean, instinctive motion. A punch to the chest. Randy staggered back, falling to the pavement. The flashlight skittered away. Mr. Dillard, the quiet librarian who fed birds every morning, stepped forward. He planted his shoe on the flashlight and said, "You're done." Randy sat there, dazed. Then Kelsey screamed, not from fear, but from the raw power of birth. Sarah coached her through the final push. At 9:27 a.m., a cry pierced the air. A baby boy. Neighbors wept. Some whispered prayers. Sarah wrapped the newborn in a cloth someone had grabbed from home. "It's a boy," she said. Kelsey laughed through tears. Nate kissed her forehead, whispering thank you over and over. Minutes later, real paramedics arrived. Then police. Randy didn't resist. Officers cuffed him quietly. In his car, fake citations, plastic cuffs, handwritten notes about neighbors. He hadn't just pretended. He lived the role. By evening, footage went viral. The headline, "Woman Gives Birth on Street After Confrontation with Fake HOA Enforcer." Social media called it surreal. Nate was hailed a hero. Sarah praised for her poise. Randy a cautionary tale. Days passed. Kelsey and baby Asher rested in the hospital. The room was quiet, peaceful. Nate never left her side. Back in Briarwood Grove, the neighborhood changed. Casseroles appeared on porches. Diapers. Cards. Lawn mowed without asking. Then came the fundraiser, more than enough for hospital bills and college savings. At the next HOA meeting, attendance exploded. Rules were rewritten. Communication improved. And Randy Brewer was permanently banned from any community involvement. Weeks later, Nate walked Hawthorne Lane with baby Asher cradled against his chest. They stopped at the spot. No plaque marked it, no ribbon. Just sidewalk. But to Nate, it was sacred. A place where fear met courage, where fiction fell to truth, and where his son took his first breath beneath the open sky. Asher stirred, a tiny fist raised to the sun. And somewhere nearby, a wind chime danced in the breeze, like the street itself had finally exhaled.